This week on Pop Culture Junkie, we continue our Winona Ryder 101 class by watching the movie that defined Gen X as a bunch of whiny slackers. That's right, it's 1994's Reality Bites.
Fill me up with a barrel full of monkeys, 'cause I hate being bored, I hate being bored. Load me up 'cause I'm such a junkie. Every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I am Hayley, and I am joined by
Shauna,
Alex,
and Nicole.
Recording live at Olympus Games in Mesa, Arizona. Today we look at Reality Bites, which stars Winona Ryder at her most winning and Ethan Hawke at his most loathsome.
Yeah, this movie kind of bites. All right, I think that just about sums it up.
Thanks,
Where
guys.
can everyone find
We'll
you?
be here all internet.
I like how you started with a bunch of whiny slackers because I have siblings around that age right now, and I would say they're also whiny slackers.
They listen to the show.
No.
Okay.
So it's interesting you bring that up because my husband, I guess, he's a little bit between generations, but he self-identifies as Gen X.
All right, where does Gen X? Where do we place
Yeah, explain
that?
this.
Someone Google it.
Yeah, what
Google
are
it, Google
the
it.
years?
Yeah, I don't even know what I am.
He's like the lost
I
generation.
think you're Gen Z.
Am I?
What is?
Better millennial.
I'm a millennial.
I'm a
I'm a
Okay,
millennial.
then I'm probably Gen Z. I think
What is Gen X? All it says is Gen X entered a slow job market with a mountain of debt. And that's just what it says.
That's the plot of Reality Bites.
Honestly,
literally
that is
the plot of the
literally
movie.
plot of the movie.
Yeah, my husband, I guess, would be at the tail end of Gen X if it was 65,
5 or 4 to 80, yeah.
So he was born in 1980, so he's right at the end of that. But it was funny because, you know, we talk about Gen Z or whatever the generation is now, and there's kind of this stigma of like, they're lazy and they're entitled and they want to get famous for nothing.
And her dad says that to her in the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so we're watching it, and the whole time my husband goes, he's like, I hate this. I hate this movie so much. I hate it. I hate it. He goes, I didn't realize my generation had all the things that I hate about the current generation.
Okay, see? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, every generation, like whatever's above them will shit on the one below them.
Absolutely.
The thing is, too, when I was watching it, the one guy, I forgot what job interview she was going to, but he was like, yeah, your generation just doesn't have any work ethic. And I'm like, that's literally just generation after generation after generation that nobody has work ethic.
Yeah, it was just like the stigma of young people.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20-somethings, nothing but a bunch of whiny slackers.
Hey, watch it.
Yes. Okay. So everyone in this movie is like 23. As somebody near that age, Nicole, did you relate to anybody in this film?
Literally her, because she's trying to do journalism and can't get into it. And that's literally me right now.
That's
But,
true.
You're journaling things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Lelena, right? That's the main
Yeah.
character.
Lelena or Lelaine?
Lelena.
Lelena.
Lelena. Oh, and he calls her Laney's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I kind of vibe with her a little bit, but in reality,
Bites. Sorry.
I guess I kind of like vibe with Vickie because I used to work at a restaurant. I feel like the restaurant and then the way Leilana talked about Lelena.
Leilana,
I know, it messes me up
it's
too.
a dumb name.
It's a weird name.
Sorry if you're listening and that's your name.
Sorry, Lelena.
Sorry, Lena.
Whoever had Reality Bites as their favorite movie and then had a baby.
Oh my gosh.
She's listening to this episode like, hey.
When she started like down talking on her having a job at the Gap,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I feel that because I used to work at a restaurant and I'm like, wow, I'm 24 and I'm still working at a restaurant. So I think I vibe with her the most.
Well, you'll know who also worked at the Gap?
You?
Kanye.
Oh.
Kanye works at the Gap.
He used to, yeah.
Oh, shit.
And now he is partnering with them with his Easy collection.
The Gap was
had no
like the
idea.
business in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I was like, you just turned on a job for the Gap?
Yeah. It was legit. I remember my brother working at the Gap and it being like a big deal and him being like, I can get you guys discounts. And it was big stuff. And the interesting thing about that too is at that time when she's like crapping on the idea of I can get you a job and she's like, I'm not going to do that. Vickie's the only one that has a job.
Yeah.
Literally the only one.
She's the only one that's providing for anybody. And it was this weird like mentality of like all that stuff is beneath me. And like, it's interesting because I get they're college graduates. They're thinking, we've got all this debt. we've got the world in front of us.
Yeah.
And none of them can really make anything out of it. And I mean,
They were all so entitled, though. Like, the BMW. Oh, ew. And like, oh my God, just take the fucking BMW. Like, take the fucking job at the Gap and just pay your goddamn bills. I'm sorry, I'm so curious.
Oh yeah, I mean, she self-sabotages herself with what she did at her job.
Yeah, she's like, I got fired.
Like, yeah, duh. Yeah. Like, did you not realize what was going to happen? If
I'm like, weren't you trying to get fired with one, what you heard them talking about, and two, what you literally wrote on the cue cards?
Yeah.
She should have said, I quit my job.
Yeah.
Fuck that place.
Right.
I don't think they had unemployment at the time, did they?
Maybe, but maybe not if you just completely sabotage like a live broadcast.
And then you've got Troy, who like brags about how many jobs he's been fired from. Like it's this point of pride.
So cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess the plot of this movie, if anyone has never seen Reality Bites, is just that. It's a group of young 20-somethings who graduate college, can't get meaningful work, and are kind of dealing with the frustrations of young adulthood and trying to pursue your dreams and the things you really want to do, but also having to reconcile the fact that that might not become reality, hence, Reality Bites, and that you might have to settle for something that you didn't originally see yourself doing.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of movie, at least with that kind of message, fits for any 20-something-year-old coming out of college, trying to figure out what life is like. All you know are like the things that they taught you at school, and then you're thrown into the real world and trying to figure out how to make it.
Yeah. I feel like watching this movie as a 33-year-old, I'm just like, God, they're so irritating. And then I think back to when I was fresh out of college and I was like, oh my God, I have a psychology degree. I'm going to get a job right away. I'm going to just be like, everything's going to be great. And I mean, that's not how reality is in the slightest.
Reality Bites.
Reality Bites, y'all.
That's a good name for the film.
Unless you're Ben Stiller, apparently his character is just set.
Mr.
So yeah, I want to talk about Ben Stiller's character really quick. So I could talk a lot about this, but
He's so
when you're
cute.
talking about people you identify with in the movie, I found myself identifying with Ben Stiller's character the most because when I was in college, I was originally a journalism major. I wanted to be, and that was a step kind of down, I guess. I wanted to be like in film school. And I couldn't get into the colleges I wanted to go to, so I switched to journalism. And then after my freshman year, I switched to education because I was like, this is going to guarantee me a job.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be guaranteed a job when I get out of school, even if it's low paying, whatever. And so in some respects, it's like, I get Ben Stiller because he's like, I'm just doing what I have to do to like have a job and be successful and do it. And he's not like a jerk. Like, he's not a bad guy.
Good guy. Like, okay, do I think that he's right for, I'm just going to call her Lainey. Do I think that they're right together? No. But some lady's going to come around and like sweep him up and then they're just going to have a lovely future together. Yeah. Like, I dated a boring guy in my 20s who on paper was great, but he was just dull as a sack of rocks. And I'm sure some girl likes a sack of rocks, but it wasn't me.
And he had those scene with them drinking their like big gulps in the back. That was cute.
That was cute.
That was objectively cute.
How old was he? Do we know? In this
Ben Stiller?
I'm going to assume in his mid-20s.
Okay. I'm going to say, yeah, it's probably
kind
around
of
his
adorable,
mid-20s.
though.
Yeah,
He was
He looked
freaking
really
adorable.
young. He looked like he was 19.
I think Ben Stiller is hot. Like, I absolutely think he's daddy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So I was here for him. He actually directed the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first theatrical release movie that Ben Stiller directed. First of several.
Nice.
Yeah. And, little plug, guess what else he directed?
What?
Severance, my favorite TV show.
Oh, he did.
The one on Apple TV?
Uh-huh.
I still haven't watched that. Isn't that like a thriller, though?
It is.
Ben Stiller directs a thriller?
He does.
Interesting.
And he
It
does
rhymes.
very well. Yeah. He's a multi-talented man. He's
know.
actually kind of stopped acting in favor of directing.
I'm not sure about this one, though. Reality Bites. It felt like it was a 90s movie, but it almost felt like it tried too hard to be a 90s movie when it was already a 90s movie because it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was absolutely like peak cookie cutter 90s movies.
They
To
had
the
the whole-
music.
With camcorder recordings and everything. Like, come on, bro. Like,
So I want to talk about the characters of Vickie and Sammy and how rushed and kind of like out of left field their storylines were. It kind of felt like the plot was like, well, they haven't done anything. Let's give them some issues.
Yeah.
And they're wrapped up real quick.
I wasn't even sure what their point was at first because they were just roommates to me. And that's the only time you ever saw them. Like, oh, we have to make sure that this is, you know, a 20-something-year-old life. So let's put them all in the same house.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. Did you guys ever watch The Real World back in the day?
I watched the Real World Road Rules Challenge.
Yes. I remember watching The Real World New Orleans was like the first season. I really got it. And I think that was late 90s. But it reminded me somewhat of that, where on The Real World, they would try to find like a mishmash of people to try to have like diversity, but instead you ended up with like the token gay guy or whatever.
As you say, this is just a house full of white people.
Well, fun fact, this movie was almost named Real World.
So Vickie has like a diary of men that she sleeps with. And after they leave, she writes their names down and a little number and what she thinks might be their name. Rick.
Yeah.
And then I guess one of her sexual partners tests positive for HIV. And so she spends at least 15 minutes being nervous about that in the movie and then tests negative. But she goes from that to like, they're at the diner saying, I'm dying of AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting treatment of, you know, the AIDS crisis of the 90s. And obviously, like, there was very real fear and very real panic. But it's weird to go from, like, you know, watching Rent or even reading, like, Tell the Wolves I'm Home and really reading these, like, rich depictions of what that was like. And then in Reality Bites, it's like, oh no, I think I'm dying of AIDS. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, nope, it was negative. Yay, let's have a dance party.
They're like in the clinic celebrating. And I'm like, there's probably someone in the corner who just found out they have fucking AIDS.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you guys keep it down a little bit? Like,
I think that was their thing, though, just dancing in random places.
Yeah,
Remember
like in the
like,
gas station.
Dude, I love that scene.
that scene is kind of cute.
I love the My Sharona gas station
That
scene.
one is probably like the peak of the movie and of being in your 20s right there.
I do love the way that they dance. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's just kind of a wiggle. I don't know.
90s dance.
I really want to recreate it. So next time we go to a gas station, let's do it.
Absolutely. With our dad's gas credit card, which is our graduation gift.
Yeah.
And then Sammy, he mentions AIDS too. He calls it the big A. But he says he's celibate, but not because he's afraid of the big A, but because he was afraid of like coming out to his parents. So that was pretty sad. And then he finally does. And like his mom won't let him back in the house.
Yeah. That was sad, but also felt rushed to your point.
So rushed.
Yeah. Like, we don't really get,
He has no backstory.
no, just 5
graduated
seconds.
with them, right? They all graduated together.
Except for Troy. Troy
Right.
dropped out.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah. But he's so dreamy.
Let's shift our focus to Troy for a moment.
Ethan Hawke,
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan.
So here's the thing. I like Ethan Hawke a lot. I like a lot of his films and loved him in Moon Knight. He did a great job.
He did.
Big fan of his daughter, Maya Hawke.
Yes.
Stranger
Who
Things.
Winona Ryder will later be in Stranger Things with.
Yeah, I know.
Comes full circle.
Adorable.
Maya Hawke, she's the one that works with
Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robin, yeah. So, big fan of the Hawke family, Uma Thurman, all of them. I hate Ethan Hawke so much in this movie.
God.
I hate him so much. My biggest complaint with this movie is like, I get what they were trying to do with the bohemian, follow your passion and your art and whatever. All they had to do to sell me on the concept of the movie, the only thing, is just make Ethan Hawke a half decent human being.
Make him just likable in the slightest.
Yeah.
I was mad every time he was holding a guitar.
Yes.
100%.
Oh my God. And I dated so many guys in college like that who would take out a guitar and have to sing at every party. And it was so cringy. And I wish I would have started from the beginning, taking a tally of how many cigarettes everyone smokes.
Oh, so much smoking in this movie.
Everyone is smoking every 2 seconds.
Crazy. I was like, dude, that people did used to smoke indoors. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
just everywhere.
Everywhere.
But yeah, no, Troy sucks. I mean, I guess him and Lainey are best friends. It's kind of established.
Yeah,
but
I mean-
we don't know. All they
But
do
even
is,
then, that's not super established.
it's not. In the very beginning, he's like at the graduation dinner with her family, and like, are they dating?
Right.
And then you're like, okay, no, they're not.
He was jealous when her and the Ben Stiller character were
because Troy is the perfect embodiment of I don't want her until I can't have her, and until she seems like she's dating someone who's like she can't date a yuppie who actually has a job, and
Or I don't
cell
want
phone.
you, but no one else can have
No one
you.
else can have you.
Yeah.
And then he parades like girls around just to make her jealous.
What was your least favorite Troy moment of the film? Because there are many to choose from. What was the moment that made you go, that guy sucks, and I never want to see him ever again?
Well, I already shared that it was every time he held a guitar.
Yeah, it's valid. I do love when she
man.
yelled at him and was like, okay, so you want to play guitar? Then how about you freaking practice sometimes? Or like
Yes.
have some shows or do anything other than sit around the apartment being a lazy piece of crap.
His songs weren't great either.
No, and that was really
bad.
Ethan Hawke singing, by the way. Oh. Not that, whatever. Jeremy
well, I
Renner
mean,
has some
just
songs,
like-
doesn't make them good.
There was no melody, no rhythm to it. No. I mean, it's just like he's just singing real life actions.
It's
happening in front of
90s
him.
sad boy music.
Yeah.
I guess when he tried to kiss her and then she didn't want it. And so he just decides to be a dick to her for a solid 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Good one.
she doesn't owe you anything, bro. Like, you're the one who decided you wanted to, like, let's just kiss.
See, I've met guys like that though.
Oh, yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
What was yours?
I think mine is when she got dressed up all nice to go out with Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah.
And he called her a doily and made fun of the way she looked and told her to go change. And yeah, that whole thing really like,
What's a doily? Is that like 90s lingo?
No, it's like a grandma, like a little lace, like the thing that your grandma puts her teacup on. It's like a little lace doodad.
yeah. And she looked so cute. She looked so
so
adorable.
cute. And then Michael stands up for her and is like, no, she looks great. Like,
And I gotta admit, that line where he's like, I think I know what she needs in a way that you never will. I got up and cheered. I was like, you're right. You're so right. And then she
Yes.
just gets with Troy anyway.
God, I'm so. I will say, okay, the scene where they finally have sex, I was digging it. I was vibing. I like their little soft kisses, their little soft 90s kisses.
The zoom in to their
Zoom
face.
into their lips, kind of.
Her and Troy or her and Michael?
Her and Troy. Her and Michael have sex in a car.
Yeah.
In which Michael.
That scene was
Troy
cute
walks
too,
by.
but yeah, it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
It wasn't like passion.
Yeah, her and Troy were like making love.
He says that later and I giggled.
I do too. Anytime someone says the term make love, even when my husband says it, like, do you want to make love? I'm like, no, I want to fuck.
That's adorable. That is so cute.
It screams soap opera to me. Like every time I just think of watching Days of Our Lives or something.
Yeah.
And I don't
We
know.
made love last night.
I can't.
Or I'm a grown woman, and so this is going to sound really stupid, but like sometimes breasts, like I'd never be like, touch my breasts. Touch my breasts while we make love.
Oh my gosh. No, I can't.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm too much of
make
a
love.
child,
Maybe
dude.
it's a man thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I make love too, but like,
I just don't call it
I don't
that.
call it making love. I just call it love.
I would never text my husband and be like, make love tonight? Question mark.
Do you remember that love-making session last night where you gently caressed my breasts?
You sound like Will Ferrell in the hot tub on Saturday night.
Lover. We're going to make love, lover. With your heaving breasts.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're so right though. It gives like romance novel.
Why is he in
I
a
don't know.
suit in the end, too?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did he get a job?
No, it's because he went to a funeral.
Oh, yeah, his dad died.
It's not funny that his dad.
It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did.
Jesus Christ, this movie.
Yeah, that was Rush too. That was Rush too. The whole thing.
And then they
Oh,
buy
my
a
word.
house. How do they afford it? And we're just skipping so far ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
they do. Yeah.
Where did they get the money?
Yeah, that made no sense. No one has a job still.
Neither of them have jobs.
Their
Their
parents.
the power of their lovemaking
I believe it.
gave them
But
mortgage
her
money.
parents already turned her down when she asked for money. He got an inheritance maybe from his dad dying.
Maybe. In which case, what lesson is this movie teaching anybody?
If your parents die, you can make sweet, sweet love to
Yeah.
your best friend.
In your new home.
in your new gorgeous home.
In your
together.
grungy best friend who doesn't shower and smokes nonstop.
God, I'm sure he smells so bad.
dude.
And I bet Michael smelled really good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know that, like, Ethan Hawke in this movie is supposed to be this stereotypical, like, Gen X god and, like, what everybody wanted and this grunge whatever. And again, I think maybe I was born too late or maybe I'm too old and jaded now. But the whole time I was watching it, I was like, Ben Stiller's the catch here.
I wasn't sure what he was
completely
doing.
agree.
What was his like job? Because he was like working with toys. Was he in marketing or something? Maybe I missed it.
Ben Stiller was like a marketing manager of some sort because he worked for that reality or in
like
your
MTV
face.
type.
Yeah, he worked for the In Your Face show. And he sincerely tries to help her.
Yeah. And like, it gets effed up, but it wasn't his fault. And then he comes back and apologizes and is like, I'm going to take you to New York and we're going to try to sell your original vision. Like, he is, whatever.
That
he may
to me
be
is
dweeby.
lovemaking.
He's like the, yes.
Yes, right there.
Boom.
They just made love right then. All right, that wraps up.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. No, for real though. He is the catch. So
Team Michael, Team Jacob.
yeah, I actually am Team Jake.
I am so Team Jacob.
Wait, who's Jacob? Is he in this movie?
You didn't see Jacob in this movie? He's like a main character. I'm just kidding. We're making Twilight jokes.
Okay. Like, looking through the cast list, I'm like, who the heck
It's
is
like, shit, Jacob.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
So yeah, we're all Team Michael.
Yeah.
Winona was adorable in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked seeing from Heathers to this, like the progression of like the 80s icon to the 90s icon.
For sure.
Winona did say that she liked this role because it's kind of who she envisioned herself to be if she had not become an actress.
Oh, that's cute.
So she would have been this kind of Lelena character, which, yeah, is cute, I think. And she actually, it was interesting. So I was going over like the trivia or whatever. She was responsible for getting Ethan Hawke cast. She had seen him in something else. She really liked him and wanted to
cool.
work with him. And the role was written for Winona Ryder. So she was like the star, so she got to kind of control.
Yeah, Winona Ryder has some pull when it comes to these movies because every single movie, at least I feel like it sounds like she's always had some sort of in and like who's casted.
That's a good point, actually. I feel like we've made that point a lot with our movies.
Yeah, she was
so
the
far.
it girl for sure.
Yeah. She was absolutely the shining star of this movie. As much as I didn't really enjoy the movie, I did completely relate to her when she's like unemployed. She goes to all those interviews and then she just kind of sinks into a couch coma for a while. And
She just binge watches TV.
Yeah, she's just calling the psychic and like going through cigarettes. Like that is me when I was unemployed with White Claws, but like with the blanket on me, just like the cans at my feet. And I could see like people coming in just be like, "Hey, want to like shower, like, do something?"
I loved the throwback to the 1-900 number psychic.
Oh yeah.
Like, I had forgotten that so much of TV watching in the 90s was like infomercials for psychics and phone sex and
Phone sex,
That still
psychics,
exists.
and like an exercise machine.
Well, the phone sex and the exercise machines, they still exist.
How do you know this, Alex?
I'm up late.
Alex is like, you should see what I do with my Bowflex.
You can put these things together.
You know you can make love to a Bowflex?
Make sweet, sweet love on a Bowflex machine.
The movements are very similar.
So connecting this episode to some of our other episodes, the gas station scene, the My Sharona, Quentin Tarantino tried to use that song in Pulp Fiction, but he
Really?
couldn't because it had already been licensed to Reality Bites.
Interesting.
Which I didn't know that you could like license a movie like that specifically to just like one film or not. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if it's like a crux of the film, maybe if it's like a, you know, like a B-roll kind of song, not really, but like when you think of like, I'm a believer or somebody wants, that's Shrek, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You can't just put that in another movie.
That's good.
And they played a lot from that song. Like there was like a whole minute
Yeah.
of the song that was
Yeah.
being played.
Yeah. There's some good music. There's a great soundtrack. It's one of the reasons this film has been enduring like as long as it has.
I think
because of
that's what the
Absolutely.
90s films had was just every single 90s, at least, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the 90s movies I've watched had great.
I completely agree. I think we all just kind of like 90s music too.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
Another fact that I thought was kind of funny. Janeane Garofalo was fired from production by Ben Stiller because he didn't like her attitude during rehearsal. And then Winona Ryder is the one who like convinced him to take her back. But apparently she even admitted about herself that she has a poor work ethic and just hates to rehearse.
Which is funny because she and Ben Stiller were friends, like, and have been friends for a long time. So the fact that he fired, like, she must have been really bad.
Right. I hope she's cleaned up. I don't know, not been a hard to work with person since then.
But that's another win for Winona, like, to get her to come back.
Yeah, that's more
And-
cool.
Yeah.
Steve Zahn was cast because Ethan Hawke specifically saw Steve Zahn performing and got him cast. So it was like a family affair.
I like it.
And Ben Stiller was the one who got Lisa Loeb's song "Stay" to be at the end.
God, that song has been in my head for days
Yeah.
now, you guys.
Because Ethan Hawke was friends with Lisa Loeb.
Have you seen the commercial? I think it's a Geico commercial where she plays that song.
Oh yeah,
It's so funny.
that song's a classic. It's
is.
really good. I was sad that it didn't come on till the credits.
I know. I was waiting the whole movie for it.
Another fun fact.
Yeah.
One more. Uno mas.
Una mas.
Speaking of family affair, Winona Ryder was dating the lead singer of Soul Asylum at the time this movie was made, which you want to talk about 90s music and a total
Right.
90s
Oh my
band, Soul
God.
Asylum. And he was not cute, so I do not know what she was thinking. But in the background, you know when Vickie is talking about her parents getting a divorce and there's the guy on the bed in the background? That's
Yes.
Winona Ryder's boyfriend.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I wonder
He has,
what
like, dreads.
He was number like 69 or
Yeah,
something.
I guess so. He's the one with it.
He's the one who gave her the AIDS. I'm sorry, she was
up.
negative.
You know, now that I
She's
think about it, like this movie is really just let's get a bunch of our friends together and make a movie.
Kind of.
Which is kind of what Lainey's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wants just to have this film and this documentary about her buds,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of their journey. But I guess that's kind of what we're watching too. Dang.
That's why it's so bad.
Reality is the friends we made along the way.
Does it make us like the movie more now that we think of that?
I will tell you what does make me like the movie. Ben Stiller had the Ben Stiller Show that originally aired on MTV and then shifted over to Fox. And it actually, I think it like won an Emmy for like best series at the time, but then it was axed like immediately after it was canceled. And a lot of big names were like Bob Odenkirk and Janeane Garofalo was on it with him. And Andy Dick was in it with him, who then shows up in Reality Bites. So what's cool to me about Reality Bites, and especially because his character works at this like MTV knockoff and they like F up Lelena's movie, right? They make it all stylized and whatever instead of being like authentic. I feel like in a lot of ways Reality Bites was like an F you to MTV.
Interesting.
And also to Fox and to basically anybody who was like, oh no, you're not good enough. And then Ben
Yeah.
Stiller went and made this movie and then kind of snuck in a lot of these jabs.
I like that. And you know what? That's a good point because the bastardization that he does to her work is definitely making fun of the real world.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her boss at the network who hosts the like Good Morning show, like that's obviously making fun of like these executives and stuff too. So in that way, it's kind of a rebellious move on Stiller's part.
One question. Was this set in Houston?
Yeah, weird.
Out of nowhere.
I thought this was L.A.
Well, out of nowhere, like when they're showing Lainey what they kind of did with her footage, it says Houston.
Yeah.
Like for friends, Houston. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there was no indication that it was in Houston.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
That
out
was
of nowhere
really weird.
too.
Like, why not set it in New York? Were they trying to make it more relatable? I don't know. That was weird.
There's Glendale. I want to see a movie set in like Glendale, Arizona.
Noel, the
that's
Christmas
right.
movie, is
No,
set in
you're right.
Glendale, Arizona.
Touche.
Yes.
Oh, that looked nice.
Do we want to do some quotes?
Let's do some quotes. Let's do some scenes. All right, I'm going to be Ben Stiller, so that means I get to cast the film.
Okay.
So Shauna, you're Lelena in this first one.
Okay.
And Alex, you're going to be Troy.
I was really going to be somebody by the time I was 23.
Honey, all you have to be by the time you're 23 is yourself.
I don't know who that is anymore.
I do. And we all love her. I love her. She breaks my heart again and again, but I love her.
Why is she breaking your heart, Troy? What? Because she turned you down after a forced kiss once. Right. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
All right.
Do you want to be Vickie?
Okay, I'll be Vickie.
Okay.
I feel like this is a conversation we would actually have.
I feel like I've had this conversation so many times with my friends in my 20s.
Pretty sure we recorded this conversation.
That's true, actually. Probably on a previous Winona Ryder
I'd say it's
episode.
probably about Winona Ryder, how gay we are.
Yeah. All All right. Do you ever wish you were a lesbian? Don't you think it would be so much easier?
Sometimes, but I don't know. I could never go through with it. I'd start laughing or something.
That is such a shame because I have had it with men. Also, headcanon, I feel like Winona Ryder's bisexual.
Oh.
I have no evidence.
Oh, Winona is.
To back this up.
She's got strong bisexual energy.
Really? Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
Oh, yeah.
In that. All right.
It's just ebbing off of her.
I feel like in every role she's ever been in, I'm always like, no, you're definitely.
You know what? And I kind of ship Vickie and Lainey now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I think they would be beautiful
I
together.
think that's what should have happened.
And you know what? They would make love.
And also
Caress each other's breasts. I ship it.
fan fiction. I wonder if there's Reality Bites fan fiction.
Oh my God. I'm definitely going to Google it tonight when I get home.
Should we do one more?
Let's do the one in the back because it's Vickie and Lelena and Troy.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
You want to be Vickie again?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you something.
Are you out of your mind?
Oh my God, Lainey, he just got fired from the newsstand. He needs a place to stay till he can find a new job and get his own place.
Vickie, that's the American dream of the 90s. That could take years.
Look at it like a built-in security system. We'll have a man around the house. We'll have a hall monitor. That's what we'll have.
I don't even know if this is allowed in the building.
It's not like Mr. Roper is going to burst in. I'll just stay on the couch.
Vickie, he will turn this place into a den of slack.
What the hell is your problem?
I have to work around here. And unfortunately, Troy, you are a master of the art of time suckage.
Well, I'm sorry, Miss Poster Girl for the Workers' Party, but until I get that toehold in the burger industry, I got a little time to suck.
And that's when they knew they were in love with each other.
Yeah, right? Happily ever after. I do wish that in that instance, instead of what the hell is your problem, Troy would have been like, what's your damage? All right, guys, let's give a grade to the movie Reality Bites as a whole.
Jesus Christ.
All right, I'll give it a C. It was just average, less than, maybe, C minus. I feel like the only reason I give it an average grade is because it relates to any 20-something-year-old. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Man, I do like that sometimes when the characters are talking to each other, they'll like giggle and they'll laugh and like they look like they're actually interacting like friends would interact with each other, you know? But overall, I'm going to give this movie like somewhere between a D+ and a C-. Okay, I'll give it a C-. I'll let it graduate college, but it doesn't have strong job prospects in the future.
Yeah. Just like the characters. Yeah, there's no real climax to the film.
Except for when Lainey climaxes with Troy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would say that the acting is what saves the movie.
Yeah.
The acting is really powerful at times. Mm-hmm. I really believe all the characters. So I will say because of that, I give it a B-. But yeah, just because of the acting, definitely not because of the plot.
I agree with that. I do think everybody was very convincing in this movie.
So let's go. Let's go to Winona. Let's go to our girl. Let's grade her performance, especially compared to Heather's and Beetlejuice. Where do we think she ranks?
I don't see this character any different than any of the other characters. They're just young girls trying to figure it out. You know, I think she's
all?
Yeah, right. Inside. I'll give her an A. I think, you know, just piggybacking off of what we're talking about, the characters being strong and the actors being strong in those roles, I would give her an A because, again, it goes back to being able to relate to, you know, these 20-somethings.
I agree. I'm going to give her a strong A as well. She was the most likable character in the movie. She was believable as a fresh college graduate who doesn't know what she's going to do with her life. And it is cool to see Winona Ryder progress from movie to movie as we're watching. So you can see where she's improving, how she's changing in her roles. I mean, the next one we watch is going to be completely like Girl Interrupted is an amazing movie, but it's so twisted. And it's just watching her progress to that's been really cool.
You know, yeah, hey, that's a good point because there's a little bit more at stake. I mean, she was, you know, involved in murders in Heather's. So I guess that's a lot at stake. But in terms of just like reality,
Yeah,
how much it bites, I feel like she was, really good at capturing that.
This is definitely the most grounded in reality movie that we've watched of hers so far.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I'd give her an A. I maybe an A- only because I found myself captivated with some of the other performances, maybe even over hers.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller did a really good job.
He's great in this movie.
And even as much as I hate Troy, Ethan Hawke did a really good job playing this awful slacker of a human being. But I think my favorite part of Winona's performance was her interactions with the other characters.
Yeah.
And so I think without the ensemble cast supporting her, I don't know, how much it would stand on its own. So A-, I would say. But yeah, definitely it's been good to see her progression into a new decade.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny how starkly 80s Heather's was and how 90s this one is.
Yeah.
The hairstyles, the fashion, the cinematography, it's just so abrupt.
Yeah. And Beetlejuice kind of was like a time period of its own. It kind of stands, obviously it was made in the 80s.
Yeah, but it's pretty timeless. That's a good point. You don't really know when the movie's set particularly.
Yeah, because their art style's weird and funky and they all dress odd and the music is from all different old,
Yeah, for sure.
time periods. So yeah. All right, guys. Solid episode.
Redonkulous episode.
Glad our podcast doesn't bite. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Reality Bites was released in 1994 by Universal Pictures. Written by Helen Childress, directed by Ben Stiller. Starring Winona Ryder as Lelena Pierce, Ethan Hawke as Troy Dyer, Janeane Garofalo as Vickie Minor, Steve Zahn as Sammy Gray, and Ben Stiller as Michael Grates. Let's tell everybody where they can find the Pop Culture Junkies. Shauna, where can they find you?
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, at Shauna Trinidad, Shaunatrinidad, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
And Nicole, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
Alex, where can everybody find you?
At ALCASNUN, that's Alcasnun on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me, Hayley, on Instagram at 30nerdythriving. You can find all of our links at our website, popculturejunkie.com. And be sure to join the Pop Culture Junkie support group on Facebook. We also have a Patreon. So head to patreon.com/popculturejunkiepodcast. Find exclusive content. Help support us so we can keep making this podcast many a year into the future.
We have a patron.
Woohoo!
Shout out to Kelly. Thank you very much for being a loyal listener and for your contribution.
Subscription, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting us. Yay, we love you.
Yay, I got to shower in the ones.
Yeah, and if you want to shout out on the podcast, please go to our Patreon and be sure to get ready for our next Winona Ryder 101 lesson by watching Girl Interrupted. And come back next week for another hit of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group.
So entertain me right now. 'Cause I need it.